Cool.
And we're live.
Cool. You
So,
break us up. You start us up.
let's talk about...
Make it something that I can talk about.
Let's do the Metaverse. I think it's just like an easy one to talk about.
Good, because that coincides with kind of where I wanted to go with my business of 2022, because I do think the Metaverse is going to be a talked about topic, but I think people need to slow down with how quickly it's coming. I don't think it's a 1 to 3 year thing. I mean, minimally speaking.
What are you saying though? Like 1 to 3 years to initiate?
I'm talking human experience in there.
Like
or at
what
least
percentage?
adaptation,
What percentage of your life?
What do you mean? Oh.
Like how
minimal. But I'm saying
okay.
like actual human adaptation, like humans. Like, you know how, did you hear
So
Nike?
you're talking like early stages.
For sure. Did you hear about Nike, creating NFTs for themselves and buying patents for the Metaverse? So their idea is to essentially sell digital sneakers on there. So I don't think...
So what are they patenting? The individual sneaker or like the
logoing, the branding.
Okay.
Like they need to do it, I guess.
So
I didn't read the full article.
Yeah. They're not patenting like the ability to sell shoes on the Metaverse.
No.
It's just like the actual shoes.
No, it's
themselves.
their proprietary. Okay. It's their IP, I guess.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But I don't think that's going to be applied. That's what I'm saying in 1 to 3 years. Like, I don't think people are going to be, so focused on buying their digital assets and their digital shoes. I think it's going to take a little bit to be adopted. I think everything has their early innovators, and the early innovators are on top of it, and I think that's why it's being discussed now.
So, all right, let me ask you this then. Considering that, do you think about like the early pioneers or whatever you want to call them as riding a bubble, or do you think that they're getting there first, getting their feet sunk in the ground, and then everyone's going to come over later and they just got in early? Like, what are your thoughts? Or do you think? I know you said that it's going to take some time for people to want to seriously sell Metaverse property, we'll call it, NFT, whatever.
Yeah.
Do you think that the people who are in early right now are riding a bubble, or maybe what percentage of them are riding a bubble? Like, obviously Nike's going to do well and they just got in early, but like, I'm talking like is it worth it to try to get in now?
Yes. Simple answer, yes, but I don't want this to be a cop-out, but I kind of think it's both. Because not only you have the early adopters, like, yes, they're getting into it early, but just because something's a bubble doesn't mean it's not going to exist. The .com bubble, eBay, Amazon, they came from that.
100%.
Doggy.com didn't survive.
100%.
So I think this Metaverse is technically a bubble right now, and I think there are going to be things that materialize and things people can see, oh, this is a real world application, like we can see this. But other things aren't going to stick against the wall.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
So I think it's a bubble in that sense.
So let me ask you this then.
Because it's hyped.
Yeah. No, I got you. So you consider it to be a bubble, but that doesn't mean that there's not good coming out of it, just like the .com bubble.
For sure.
With that being said, if you think about what happened during the .com bubble, there was a lot of what seemed to be very valuable things, like NFT type things, like a website. Like, people thought the idea of a website was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous, and people who were out as an outside source were like, "Wow, you invest in the bomb.com is like the famous one."
Right.
So like, why do people invest in that? Well, because like this justification, this, and like it's bomb.com, like duh. Like, that's how I view the a lot of the digital art NFTs. Like, they're hype right now, and like that's crazy. Oh my god! But then what happens in a year when people are sick of fucking apes and now they want to do the lions?
So was that your secret way of saying you don't believe in NFTs?
No, it's not that I don't believe in them. Just like I don't. It's not that I don't believe in the internet. Or if I did back then, I wouldn't have said it's not that I don't believe in the internet.
Right.
It's that who the fuck knows what the value is of what I'm buying? Like, you're guessing, because no one could have predicted. Even Jeff Bezos couldn't predict it, that back then he would turn into the largest like company ever. Like, he didn't predict that. So how could you? You were going off of a little. I mean, obviously you do research, but like, you're kind of going off a whim and guessing.
Let's go back to the specific art that you were talking about, because I'm glad you brought that up, because I as well was at first, I'm like, this does not have staying power. I don't see the legitimacy. I see the legitimacy in the resale value. Like, yeah, I'd buy something for $10,000 if I knew I could flip it for 20.
The price is what someone's going to pay.
But, right, but supply and demand. But you don't know if you're reaching it at the top. That's what I get scared about. But going back to the art argument, I agree with you. But what if, and this goes back to what you say, we're just not ready for it in the short term. But what if the future holds when you're no longer holding a Van Gogh or another famous artist's work up there? Instead, you have the new age artist who's creating maybe the Bored Ape Yacht Club, or maybe it's the next thing. I saw an NFT sell for like 1.9 million the other day. It was literally 2 spheres, a big one and a small one.
Yeah.
So, but who's to say? So these people that are investing in it, they're riding the artist. They're hoping that this artist gets well known and gets popular. So they're looking at it. It's new age art. It's modern art. Could you imagine having, instead of, like I was saying, instead of a real picture up, maybe you have maybe just like a screen, like a dashboard, and maybe you have 10 Bored Ape Yacht Clubs in your collection, and when you have your friends over for dinner, you want to set up a display so it maybe every 10 seconds it shifts the next Bored Ape. So that's modern art, because when you walk into your friend's house, like, that's a nice piece of art, that's a nice piece of art. Why isn't it the same value in the new world with new age art, aka NFT art?
So, I mean, this is just...
Are you just saying it's too highly valued? Do you not believe...
Well, let's say this. Me speaking about art directly, why is a Van Gogh so valuable?
Because he's gone.
Yes. Like, his artwork is only going to be appreciated years after, because people are going to realize what he was saying in his art during his time, but during your time you can't really recognize that, and they're going to be like, wow, he or she was great back then. Now, they also can't fuck up their legacy either, because like anything, yes, maybe that is true for Bored Ape Yacht Club, but what happens when it comes out that the Bored Ape Yacht Club's founder is involved in some scandal, and then like everyone's like, well, fuck that, like I don't want that anymore, and then they dump it. Like,
so
there's
too much. A longer lifespan to have people pass away, or are you just saying that in a sense of rarity?
It's like you can't. All right, take in a sports player. You can't put a sports player who's currently playing in the Hall of Fame. Like LeBron can't go in the Hall of Fame right now. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter like that he's old. It doesn't matter. Like, he's still playing. He still has time to fuck it up, basically.
But there are modern artists that just because we're not in the art culture that we don't know. But if you go to the Philadelphia Art Museum, I'm sure there are plenty pieces in there that are from people who are still living. I think we just focus in on the Van Gogh and the specific people too much. But there is still modern art that's very appreciated.
Yes, but think about how like seldom it is. Like, why do we not have random fucking art pieces in our house that we bought? Who's to say that you are in your virtual world?
Well, some people do. Some people have that stuff up. We're just of a different age, I guess. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
like our generation.
Yeah.
And I think our generation is going to be the people that turn into the, let me display this, let me display my NFT.
True. Yes, but who's to say what's going to be popular when we're ready to do it? That's what
they're taking a chance on. Just like you take a chance on a cryptocurrency, just like you take a chance on a stock.
This is the new age gold rush. You don't really know what you're doing or where you're going. You're just kind of trusting what you're hearing, and like you do the research you can, and then you just stick with something and say, we're riding this out. And as long as you're aware of that, I don't think it's bad. What I get worried about is, especially with the younger generation, and I was victim to this when I was younger. I thought I knew everything. Like, they don't have enough life experience to realize that this is a potential problem. Like when I did a network marketing company in college, and like when I learned about it, because I was young and fucking dumb, I was like, this is the most novel thing. No one's ever thought of this. Like, I'm going to take this to the moon. I'm going to be a bajillionaire.
You thought you were the first.
Well, yeah, because that's the whole idea, is like they teach you that, and a very vulnerable person, 19, I believed it. Now, there was some good things that came out of it, obviously my love for business, but like it scared me looking back to see how many other people that maybe weren't as talented. And I'm not saying I'm super talented, but like in terms of like business, like I established myself as at least having my feet under me, and to see those kids back then that were like had no hope, like they didn't even come close to what it takes to.
You were just naive in that.
Yeah, but I'm saying what scares me is all those other kids that did get brainwashed by that, right? because they had to learn the hard way. A lot of them put a lot of money into this thing. They like their life savings, but $3,000 that they saved the past few years, like they spent all of it on it and they got fucked.
Yeah, just go on Reddit Wall Street Bets.
Yeah,
and you'll see a lot of people's accounts that are dropping from 100,000 and they lost 97,000 of it. Like, and it's not rare. I see that, but it's unfortunate. But what's the famous saying? What's the Darwin saying?
No, survival of the fittest. Yeah, I mean, true. Yeah, and like I said, I mean, I don't think it's the wrong move. I think it's a good play in general. Like, especially it's like if you just invest in the market, your money's going to go up year over year. Not by as much, but it's going to go up. Like, yes, I do agree. Invest in Metaverse because, like, it is going to be a thing. Like, that, I'm not ignorant to that.
And listen, it can be investing in the Metaverse. I'll do a comparative as well. But investing in the Metaverse doesn't mean you have to be up to date. You can invest in Meta. Facebook, you can invest in that stock. That could be investing in the Metaverse. I compare it. If you don't want to get in on cryptocurrencies because you're scared you might be at the top, or don't buy a specific cryptocurrency, buy Coinbase on the stock market because that is the trading platform and you're playing the market.
You trust the market.
Right, and if you think the cryptocurrency market's going to go up, you just don't know which price is going to be the best right now, then buy Coinbase because the volume of usage is going to go up. So that's what I say is you don't have to be fully immersed in whatever this new stuff is. Like, as simple as much as I can relate whatever back to the stock market, like the stock market has exposure to a lot of these things that people might not know.
Yeah. So I have a question because I'm actually not sure about this. So, there's like different are there different metaverses that are being created, or does Facebook own the metaverse and there's different people making little like worlds inside of the metaverse?
Facebook doesn't own the metaverse. Facebook just hopped on top of the opportunity.
So the metaverse is just another name for like the internet. Like,
yeah, and it's like Mark Zuckerberg is like
because he's
Meta
a genius.
He's
a genius.
He's like Meta is more relevant. The metaverse, Facebook does not own the metaverse, but they're saying the same thing.
The metaverse is just there,
right? The same thing that Square just did. They're not Square anymore. They're called Block.
I know,
because of the blockchain, because they want to do all this crypto. So they're preparing themselves just like Meta is. So, but to I think the first part of your question, I'm not 100% sure because wasn't it you that was saying there's like what's it called, something land, dystopia land, or what is it on? Where people are buying property.
Yeah.
So that's technically the metaverse, but Facebook has nothing to do with that.
Yeah, I forget what the name of it is, but.
So there are a lot of different levels of that stuff, for sure. But I'm learning more about it every single day. I'm trying to, at least.
Yeah. No, I definitely feel you. And I agree. I think that it's definitely something that the world is moving towards, and I think it's important to at least dip your toes in and understand the basic logistics of it so that when a good opportunity does present itself, you're going to be better suited to take advantage of it rather than just being completely blind to what's going on.
Yeah. You don't want to, I get scared to fall behind the curve, and I think I'm staying on top of this stuff, but you don't want to fall behind the trend line. You don't want to get stuck behind the 8 ball.
Agreed.
Yeah. Well, Steve.
Let's go on.
Yeah, that was a good one.